Hi everybody, how are you doing today? I'm so excited to be telling you about the famous zoo here in Chiapas. It's one of the most well-known zoos in all of Latin America, and you'll find out why in a moment.
Chiapas is known for its nature and wildlife. One of the best introductions to its wildlife is its acclaimed zoo, which, according to experts, is one of the best in all of Latin America. So, why is it one of the best? Well, for one, the zoo has a reputation for featuring only animals native to Chiapas, with a special spotlight on those in danger of extinction, and for creating natural habitats outdoors for the animals. Secondly, since its creation, it has been dedicated in a very committed way to research, conservation, dissemination, and environmental education. Founded in 1942 by Eliseo Palacios, pictured here, the zoo was originally located in a small area you can see here west of the city of Tuxtla Gutierrez, with just a dozen species and a small museum of natural history. In 1949, the zoo changed its location, and over a period of 30 years it assembled an important collection of wildlife. Around this time, the important work of Miguel Alvarez del Toro as a researcher and advocate for the state's natural resources was recognized, and he was actually known as the first Mexican conservationist. In 1980, the zoo was moved to its current facilities south of the city, and there by decree was given the name Miguel Arbares del Toro, named after Mexico's first conservationist. It's located in the natural reserve El Sopatal at an altitude of 2,070 feet with an average comfortable year-round temperature of about 24.7 degrees Celsius. As I mentioned earlier, one of the most unique characteristics about this zoo is that it has wildlife and animals that are only native to Chiapas. So you can check out the long list here. The ZooMAT. Here is the entrada, or the entrance, in Spanish entrada. Here is one of the many garbage disposal areas, and every time there's a different animal. This one just happens to be a monkey, so we pass that on our way in. And at the entrance is a really wonderful pozole restaurant, which is kind of like hot chocolate, but it's served cold, and it's plenty sweet. I had some pozole the morning I went to the zoo, and it was delicious. And here you can see all the different kinds of pozole. They have white and dark, many different mixes. Now, just before I was about to have breakfast this morning at the zoo, I was scoping out the tables and noticed this creature. Now, you will see these guaqueque, is what they're called, all throughout the zoo. They just kind of wander on the paths, and they're about the size of a large cat, I would say. And they look a little bit to me like a squirrel, but also like a pig, kind of like a mix between both. And this one is snacking on scraps underneath the table. And it's about to dash away here. All right, so let's go ahead inside of the zoo now that we've had a sneak peek of the guaqueque. Here is a little footprint on the path, and they make them out of all shapes. This one just happens to be a spider because we're heading in to see the spiders. So this is the very first spider we looked at, and sometimes they're a little bit hard to find. Can you find the spider in this picture? Okay, let's get ready to see something a little bit strange and pretty darn cool. Check out these larger-than-life reconstructions of arthropods. They kind of look like piñatas to me. I think they're paper mache, and it's just incredible to me all of the detail you can see because they chose to make them so large. Look at all of those colors. And here we have some marine invertebrates. This is, again, humongous reconstruction of a starfish. And now we're heading out of the invertebrates area, and we're going to go outside and see some more animals. A turtle pond, and there's just such a large amount of turtles swimming in this pond today.
There they
I was
are.
really lucky to catch them.
Some of them are up on the shore too.
Now we're going to check out the monkey habitat. In Spanish, we say mono for monkey. And to talk about many monkeys, we say monos. And you can see this one here climbing up the tree.
And these guys are getting a little more active over here.
And we can see several others climbing down the tree here. In this particular video, the monkeys were getting ready to eat. One of the zookeepers had put out a big bowl of various fruits, and I believe there was a mango there and a couple of other fruits, and the monkeys were feasting. There's another one in the corner. And it's really lucky when you can see so many of them. I think it was just pure luck that we got there at the time that they were eating. Coming up here, you'll see in the corner of this little platform a fox. Can you find him in his natural habitat? We're going to head inside and take a look at a species, an eagle, that is in critical condition. And this is águila in Spanish. And this one used to have a presence at the zoo. The last one left in 1997 and actually lived until it was 41 years old. These days it only survives in the Laconda jungle, which extends from Chiapas to Guatemala, so kind of on the border there between Chiapas and Guatemala. Here I stopped to take a picture of this display showing all of the different kinds of colibríes or hummingbirds that there are in Chiapas. And I just think it's truly incredible how many different kinds there are. About 20 here, and I only ever knew about one where I grew up in Minnesota. Okay, let's continue our visit with some of the aquatic birds, Avis Aquaticus. Now this bird caught our attention because it looks like it had spotted something and it was hungry. You can see it here, it's just about to snatch that leaf and chow down. Super fun to watch it eating. Before we head back outside, let's check out one more creature, this turtle. Look at the swimming action. We're going to head back outside and check out some of the amazing birds here in Chiapas. This is the Guacamaya, and it's also another name for a thick-billed parrot. And indeed, these parrots are very, very talkative. The word Guacamaya is the Mayan name for the thick-billed parrot. And here is the Kotora Bird. You can see it's green and it's pretty small, between 28 and 41 centimeters, and weighs around 120 to 140 grams only. It's a pretty small, pretty adaptable creature, and it can be found as a pet in many homes, including many homes in my neighborhood. Look at this one that came up close to us. What a cutie.
Here we're getting very close to a hawk. It seems to like everyone's attention. There was just a group of people here a moment ago, and it's not perturbed at all. Hola. It's beautiful.
Making a second appearance here, the guaqueque. The first one we saw was at the restaurant, and this one was rambling around in the area of the bird habitat. The original founders of the zoo. The first zoo, which started in 1942 in Chiapas, was founded by Eliseo Palacios Aguilera, pictured here, and he was a teacher with an enormous interest in the study of the flora, the fauna, and the fossils of the state of Chiapas. He was also the founder-director of the first Natural History Museum, and of course of the zoo in 1942. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Miguel Carlos Francisco Davaras de Toro. And actually, the current zoo is named after him. That's why you have Matt in the title for Miguel Arbares de Toro. And he was known as Mexico's first conservationist. And he also worked in the state of Chiapas as the head of the Institute of Natural History. He is also the author of several books that you will see here. First one in 1952, the wild animals of Chiapas. In 1960, the reptiles of Chiapas. 1971, the birds of Chiapas. 1974, the crocodiles of Chiapas. 1985, a book about Chiapas. 1992, a book about the spiders of Chiapas. 1993, about the biodiversity in Chiapas. And in 1994, a book about Comitan. All right, let's go ahead and talk about his legacy. His name has made its way to several places, including the zoo we have been talking about today, the ZooMAT, and also the CPMEX, which is the Society for Study and Conservation of Mexican Birds. They named a medal in his honor, and it's given to ornithologists who have done a life's work for birds. And then the Foundation of Chiapas, the Environmentalist Foundation for the Protection of Nature. There are also several species that were named after him, and you can read the long list here. Quite impressive. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you've really enjoyed this presentation about the ZooMAT.